We are live.
Hey!
Hi, it's Mike Pingel. Welcome to the Mike Pingel Show. I have Michael Hennessy here, and
Hey, everyone.
we're going to talk about a project that's happening, what, next weekend, right? Next Monday?
9/11.
On 9/11.
Yeah.
So, you are an actor, you are a magician.
I am. Oh, here, wait. I do have a
What?
little bit of magic right here. Wait. See, I have a little bit of magic. Here we go.
What?
For your very eyes.
Oh my goodness, this is right here. I saw that. What?
Magic live, right here, baby, right here.
Who knew?
I am a magician, especially according to Gary Busey. So, because I did a few birthday parties for his son, and then he wanted me to be on a reality show with him, David Tatora's Celebrations.
All right.
And they called and said, Gary Busey said you're the greatest magician in the world. And I went, okay. Because I knew one magic trick at the time, one. And I just kept doing it. No, this is a new one. And I did it all the time at every party, so he thought I was a great magician. So I literally had to go out and learn 14 magic tricks to do this reality show. I have 5 magician friends, and they taught me some of their secrets, and so it was funny. So now I am a magician.
Did you go to the Magic Castle?
I have some friends that I connected with that are in the Magic Castle. Yeah.
See,
so
someone just says that's what you are. You can become that.
Well, and and I've learned as a business owner, I never say no. If someone says, "Hey, can you do the blah blah blah?" I say, "Yes, I can." And then I figure out how to do the blah blah blah. I've never said no except for once because it was 2 hours away, and I didn't want to lug a whole bunch of crap for a Halloween thing. I was like, nah. But anyway, yeah. So never say no. And Kathy Griffin even says that. Always say yes. If someone offers you a job, say yep, unless it's something that goes against your inner gut, of course. And
that's right.
Porn or whatever. Although we don't judge. I don't judge. I have a lot of porn friends. So. Hi.
I've never been on a porn set. Hi. Things just are coming in my brain of what I've done in the past. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the 9/11 event.
Yes.
How did it come about?
Okay, so I have an amazing teacher. Her name is Elizabeth Regan. She's one of the most incredible actresses. She does a lot of TV. She was a co-star with Whoopi on Whoopi's show.
Okay.
Very, very funny. And I started studying with her a few months ago through our mutual friend Michael Vaccaro, who studies with her. And I was kind of hesitant because I studied with Dee Wallace for so many years, and you know Dee.
Yep.
And I was kind of like, I went to other classes, and I'm like, everyone was just boring. They were just blah, blah, blah. I went to Elizabeth's class, and I knew, like the second she opened her mouth, I was just, okay, this is home. This is where I want to be. So she did a short play festival for Samuel French at the end of July. And she said, would you like to be a reader for it? And I said, sure. And it was called Happy Sweet 16. I thought, oh, this is going to be so adorable.
Aww.
So we went and we did it, and we had the rehearsal, and it was about Sweet 16 for 9/11. And I'm going to cry thinking about it. And it was basically these 3 characters that imbue everything that she went through. She lived 3 blocks away when it happened. She was pregnant. She delivered her baby 10 days after 9/11.
Wow.
She lost her father to cancer, 4 different cancers related to 9/11. So she had this mind-blowing story that we told at Samuel French, and I was so blown away, so touched by it. I just was overwhelmed, and I said to her, we need to put together a venue where other people can come tell their stories. I said, because this is intense, and it's powerful, and it's beautiful. And I said, and we can call it 9 to 11 minute short plays and stories. And it was kind of like, yeah, that sounds good, And then nothing really happened. And then I had some kitty drama in my life, and my little kitty passed away. It was really sad. And so like nothing really got started, and then she was like, well, we should do this, right? And I said, yeah. And then we thought, should we do it next year instead? And then we were both like, you know what, let's just do it. It's a few weeks away, we'll just make it happen.
Excellent.
So Loft Ensemble, they donated their space because we looked around for a space, and everyone had astronomical prices. And I'm like, this is for 9/11. We're raising money for Tuesday's Children, this amazing charity that was started right after 9/11 for children that were affected by that Tuesday. And it's a phenomenal charity, so we connected with them, and the whole event is to raise money for them. And we do want to have it streaming so people can actually donate online while it's actually streaming and stuff as well.
Nice.
And we're telling her story is going to be the pinnacle of the whole event, but we have about 6 other stories and some short plays, and we're looking for like 4 more, maybe 4 more stories if people out there have one that they want to share. Or we also have actors that will read. I'm reading one person's story for them.
Or is it kind of like reading stuff, or people are acting stuff, or is it just a variety of things?
Reading, just basically like there's 3 short plays, and they're just going to be read. It's just readings. So it's not going to be like props and sets and costumes and wardrobe changes. They're just going to sit down and they're just going to read it with the drama, the flair that they have. I mean, the people in our class are amazing. So we're basically using all the actors from the Street Smarts of Acting. That's the name of the class. And
nice.
so yeah, there'll be a lot of us there. Michael will be there, Mel England, who you know as well. So it's going to be a powerful night, and just to remember the people who have left us, and just kind of be able to share the stories and not let the tragedy of it stop you from being who you are and sharing your story. You know, because we need to remember. And like with her, a very short thing was all of her neighbors were so excited because she was having her baby. It was her first child. They were all excited. And 10 days later, when she had it, everyone had already moved out of her neighborhood.
Wow.
They were all gone. They all left. They were the only family there. So it was like just her story it's insanely intense and beautiful and mind-blowing, and I'm just and when I read it, I'm like, okay, more people need to hear the story, and other people need to share their story as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so do you know what are the other shorts are going to be about?
Yes, there is a gentleman named Gary who submitted his short story, a short play about, again, all revolving around a couple of people who were involved in it. And then a gentleman has a beautiful short story. His name is Tom, and he submitted gorgeous, beautiful short story about his life. You know, he basically lived at the Twin Towers. He was there all the time since he was a child, and lived in the shadow of them. And it's just, and I think his is called Times Have Changed. It's like everything changed, the day that everything changed. And yeah, it's really, and Mel England's going to tell his story as well.
Nice.
Because he was there in that area when it happened as well, and just the effect that it had. And yeah, it's just mind-blowing to hear these stories and just remember. It's like, okay, we got to remember the people who are not here with us anymore, and the people that have been affected so profoundly and intensely. I mean, I was here, and I was actually on the plane a week before the same flight, the week before, because I was in Maine, Algonquin, Maine, for Labor Day that year. And the weird thing, my short story about it is, I was staying at the Westin Hotel in Boston over Labor Day weekend, that Thursday or Friday, and on the 23rd, 22nd floor, and we were woken up at 3 in the morning by these people fighting and stuff, and we didn't know till afterwards it was the terrorists. They were 4 doors down from us.
What?
In the hotel in Boston. And they were arguing and fighting it. I just thought, we were like half asleep. We're like, what the hell's going on? And they were like 4 or 5 doors down from us. And it totally, yeah. When we found out, they were like, I was like, why is everybody at the hotel I was just staying at like 2 weeks ago? What the hell? And they were going through the room. I'm like, I was on that floor.
I'm not that famous yet, people.
Yeah. And then they were 2 days behind us, because we went up to Maine, and there was 40 of us. We rented like a bed and breakfast up in Maine, and we all stayed there. And the terrorists were like 2 days behind us, same path, because some of them were flying out of Portland. So it was just like crazy. I'm like, okay, so I have a weird, bizarre connection. And then I remember my godmother, who just passed on Saturday, I love you, Betsy, she called me and my voice. This when we had machines, actual, you know.
Yes, kids.
Machines.
There used to be machines. People would call.
And you'd
on a
hear their
phone.
voice like come out of the machine,
and
she said, "Michael, you should be glad you didn't take that flight last Tuesday. Turn on the TV." And it was like 6 in the morning. I'm like, "What the hell?" And I was like turning on the TV. I'm like, "Holy crap!" And it just,
wow,
it was mind blowing.
That's
and
a
it was
little
surreal.
close.
Really close.
Really
close. To home.
close.
Yeah.
What do you hope that people get from coming to the show, or take home with them?
What I really hope is that people will continue to tell their stories, because when you share the story, not when you share it in a whiny way, but when you share it in a healing way, people need to heal. There are still people that I know, they suffer from intense, PTSD. Is that how it's post-traumatic syndrome.
Yes.
They still suffer from it 16 years later, and they can't even talk about it. And I actually had someone come up and say, "I love you, I love that you're doing this, but I can't tell my story yet. I can't do it. I just can't do it." And I believe that when you talk about your story, it's healing in a healing way. You know the difference between,